Is silence just the absence of noise, or is it a language all its own? It's a paradox, isn't it? We live in a world saturated with sound, a constant barrage of notifications, podcasts, and conversations. Yet, for centuries, the Christian tradition has held silence not as an emptiness to be filled, but as a space brimming with presence, a space where the divine speaks not in thunder, but in what the prophet Elijah called a still, small voice. We often think of faith as something declared, sung, and preached. But what if the most profound encounters with God happen when we stop talking? What if silence is the forgotten dialect of the soul? Today, we're going to explore this quiet power, decoding the sacred meaning of silence in Christianity, and discovering how it can transform our own noisy lives. At its heart, Christian silence is an act of listening. It's a deliberate emptying of self to make room for God. Think of it as creating a sacred pause. In the Hebrew scriptures, silence is often a prelude to a divine revelation. The Israelites had to be still before the Red Sea to witness God's salvation. Job's friends sat with him in silence for 7 days, a powerful act of empathy before their misguided speeches began. This isn't a passive, empty, quiet. It's an active, expectant stillness. It's the posture of a soul waiting to receive. The desert fathers and mothers, early Christian ascetics, fled the noise of cities for the vast silence of the wilderness. For them, the desert wasn't empty. It was a place where the distractions of the world faded, allowing the voice of God to become clear. Their practice of hesi, or stillness, was a spiritual technology designed to quiet the mind's inner chatter, so they could hear the whisper of the divine. This tradition flows directly into the New Testament. Jesus himself provides the ultimate model. We see him repeatedly withdrawing to a desolate place to pray. Before making major decisions, like choosing his 12 apostles, he spent the night in silent communion with the Father. His time in the wilderness for 40 days wasn't just about fasting. It was about facing temptation in profound solitude, strengthening his spirit through silent reliance on God. This wasn't an escape from the world, but a way of grounding himself in a deeper reality so he could engage with the world more meaningfully. His silence before his accusers, Pilate and Herod, is one of the most powerful moments in the Gospels. It's not a sign of weakness or defeat. It's a sovereign silence, a quiet refusal to engage with the world's corrupt systems of power on their own terms. It speaks volumes, demonstrating a strength that doesn't need to shout to be heard. In the monastic tradition, this practice was institutionalized. Benedictine monasteries, for example, have what is known as the grand silence, a period from the evening service until after breakfast the next day where speaking is forbidden. This isn't a punishment. It's a community-wide commitment to creating an atmosphere of peace and contemplation. The Trappist monks take this even further, embracing a life of profound quiet. The writer Thomas Merton, a Trappist monk himself, wrote extensively about how silence allowed him to discover his true self in God, away from the false, socially constructed self. He describes silence as the mother of truth, a necessary condition for authentic spiritual growth. For these communities, silence isn't an absence of communication. It's a deeper form of it, fostering a nonverbal communion with God and with one another. So how can we, in our hyper-connected 21st century lives, tap into this ancient wisdom? We don't need to retreat to a desert or join a monk. The practice of Christian silence can be integrated into our daily routines. It can start with just 5 minutes. Find a quiet corner, turn off your phone, and simply be still. Don't try to force profound thoughts. The goal initially is not to hear a booming voice from heaven, but to quiet the noise within. Pay attention to your breathing. Acknowledge the thoughts that arise without judgment, and gently let them go. This is a form of contemplative prayer. It's about presence, not performance. You can also practice silence in nature on a walk, noticing the world around you without feeling the need to label or analyze everything. It's about shifting from doing to being. This practice isn't about escaping reality. It's about finding the truest reality. In the quiet, we begin to notice the subtle movements of our own hearts, our anxieties, our hopes. And it is in that honest, quiet space that we can become more attentive to the gentle guidance of the Spirit. Silence recalibrates our souls. It helps us discern what truly matters amidst the clamor of the urgent. It's a discipline, and like any discipline, it takes practice. But the reward is a deeper peace, a clearer sense of purpose, and a more intimate connection with the God who so often speaks in the quiet. Thank you for joining me on this journey into the heart of silence. If this resonated with you, please like, subscribe, and share your own experiences with silence in the comments below.